what's up, player? All right, so where am I at? All right, let's see.
Hi, I'm Saul Montiel. I'm a professional chef, and today I'm going to show you how to make the best tacos. It's so simple, so good. You can do this any time of the day. It's layers and layers of love. This is tacos uno en uno. What I'm looking for in the best taco is three things: the quality of the tortilla, the marinade, and the way you cook the meat, and also the salsa. No matter what taco you're making, I'm going to give you the best tips to make a really good taco. I'm going to be teaching you how to make chicken tacos. I normally didn't grow up eating chicken tacos, but this is a taco that grew on me because of my kids. They love chicken tacos, and also Cantina Rooftop. In front of me, I have chicken breast. I'm just going to do a butterfly cut. Basically, you split it in half, and it has the shape of a butterfly. So the chicken breast before, it was thicker here and thinner here. Now it's just evenly. You're going to have a nice consistency through the entire breast. I'm going to put it here. Now I'm going to move into marinade. I think it's really good to use dry ingredients. So when marinated meats, it kind of gets through the meat faster, and also the flavors are deeper, stronger. I'm going to add a little bit of lime, a little bit of salt, garlic powder, onion powder, pepper. You got to make sure you spread it all over the breast. A little more lime, a little bit of salt, just enough salt to cover the chicken. Onion powder, same thing with the pepper. A little bit of oil, let it dance, and we're going to let this sit for like 10-15 minutes, no more than an hour. While this is marinated, we're going to go and make the salsa. Today I'm making a creamy avocado salsa for my tacos. You have two types of salsa, spicy one and the mild. Today I'm just going to be making the mild one because of the simplicity and how delicious it is. So I'm going to use quarter of an onion. Now what I love about this salsa is that you can make it in 3 minutes. Now the serrano, it doesn't smell like anything. But if I do this, the flavors and the spiciness are waking up. Oh, so I'm just going to do half. I'm going to do lime. I always do this to my limes. It's a really good habit. So 1 lime per 2 avocados. If you need more, I'll add more. The best way to choose an avocado is by the color. It needs to be dark brown with a little bit of greenish. Not too green, not too dark. Something in between. Now this here, the avocado stamp, you remove it. If it's nice and yellow, greenish, that means it's on point.
Well, for that, I actually have a video myself proving that little trick to be wrong. When, let's say, for the whole entire avocado, if you take off the little top of the little nub right there, you take that off and you see light green, that's fine. You can see light green, and you can automatically try to think that you're going to assume that it's going to be light green there. You get what I'm saying? So like that's not 100% true, because I actually made a video where I had 2 avocados. One of them had a green spot here, and one of them had a brown spot there. Now, what happened was when I opened the avocados, that spot right there where it was light green, there was no oxidation in the avocado there internally. But there was like 80% of the rest of the avocado was all brown, smushy, and disgusting. It was gross. So only up here at the cap was it fresh. So that only showed that the top was fresh. So now, the other avocado that I had, it had a brown spot up here, and then when I opened it, it had a little bit of oxidation up here at the top, and then the 90% of the avocado was perfectly green, smooth, creamy, velvety, and beautifully, it was all perfect. I was able to use that one and not the other one, not the one with the light green bottom of the nib. So that's completely false, not 100% true whatsoever. So don't you can sometimes go by that, but then you have to touch the rest of the avocado to see where you can find a soft spot or an empty hole spot. You know what I'm saying? You have to really touch the avocado from head to toe. You know what I'm saying? So don't just go by that. You can go by that, and then you can start feeling around the avocado to see where you can think that the oxidation can be at, and then the softness, the whole entire surface area of the softened area is going to be where the oxidation is. That's a better way where you can choose your avocado.
If it's brown or too yellow, it's not good. When cutting avocado, you need to be very gentle. I can already tell it's beautiful by the color. And through camera B, voila. You see this right here? This is somebody that was squeezing my avocados with their fingers. Stop doing that. You're doing this to my avocado. It's no bueno, man. Now, removing the seed, right? Use my thumbnail, push it, that's it. We're going to scoop our avocado. whole avocado. Uno. I'm going to remove this dark bruise part that somebody did to my avocado. He's when I see somebody in the market grabbing the avocado. I'm going to give him a lecture. For the cilantro, I'm using the entire stems and leaves because the stems that have a lot of flavor. I'm going to do a little bit of water, add some salt. And now I'm going to puree this until smooth. I'm going to start slow. But look at the texture. This is what you want in your taco. A creamy, smooth sauce. It's amazing. My salsa is ready to go. Let's start cooking. The reason why I'm using cast iron pan because it holds the heat really nice. Also, I'm going to heat up the tortillas here, so I kind of want a wider pan so I can cook the tortillas here to get the flavor of the chicken into the tortillas. Anytime we're cooking chicken, pork, or fish, you want to sear. You want to give color to whatever you're cooking. So the level of heat right here needs to be really hot, but without burning. I'm using canola because canola can hold heat really high. So how do you know your oil is ready? You move it around. And if it travels faster, that means it's really hot. Very important. You're dealing with fire and wet.
Listen, bro. Canola oils, yeah, sure, it holds heat high. You want to know why it holds such a high heat? Because that was an oil used by the industrial industry, the one with machines, cranes, metal, like all types of machines with metal, with gears, and they have to turn, and big old pieces of metal, large pieces of metal, small pieces of metal, all that stuff. Yeah, it holds high heat because that was used to lubricate hot machines. You know what I'm saying? That's where that oil came from. You know what I'm saying? That thing is so processed that the process, if you look up the processing regimen for the canola oil to get it from what it is to an oil, to a refined oil, it's such a retardedly long process where there's so many solvents placed into it, there's so many crazy things extracted, put into it, it's chemically extracted for one. So like they need to use a chemical to even extract the fucking molecule to make the oil. Man, it's fucking ridiculous. Bro, look that shit up. Canola oil is probably the worst fucking oil you can ever use. Any kind of seed oil. If it comes from a seed, it's been processed to shit. It's been processed to crap, dude. It's like, it's not even worth anything. It has no nutritional value. In fact, it has actually more adverse effects than anything nutritional. It basically, it's a very inflammatory oil. The body's not built to metabolize something like that because it's made for fucking machines. So like when you use a seed oil, like, you know, safflower oil, sunflower seed oil, canola oil, corn oil, vegetable oils, all those kind of oils, they come from a seed, which in order for them to get the fucking seed out of that, they get the fucking thing and they process the shit out of it, just like they do with the canola. And then they have to get it refined, put it to high heat, destroy the molecules, make them rancid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's even some healthy oils that are unhealthy when brought to a high temperature, like avocado oil. You're supposed to use it on salads. You can make a mayonnaise out of it. You can make maybe not even on hollandaise because you got to heat it up. So you have to use these oils like avocado oil. If you want a high heat oil plus an oil that won't oxidize or become rancid, coconut oil. You know what I'm saying? It's a great fat. It's very strong. It's very healthy. Has a lot of like neural benefits, gut benefits, or digestive benefits, all this stuff, bro. So like, it's really good to use coconut oil to cook. You know what I'm saying? So just, like, be in mind about that, bro. Like, those oils are very inflammatory, bro. They get into the cell. It doesn't even know where to put it because it's food, not to the body at least. So, you are what you eat, man. So like, you have skin problems, all these rashes and all this stuff, and your skin's dry and all that crap. You got whatever the fuck, you got psoriasis, this, that. You're tired, you got migraines, you feel like shit, you feel tired, you react some ways that you don't want to. A lot of times because of the stuff that you put in your body, man, because your body doesn't know how to react to that. So then it disrupts your whole entire endocrine system. So if you got systemic inflammation, the body's going crazy. It's trying to cure this, but it doesn't know how to because it can't even get rid of what's in there causing the fucking thing. You get what I'm saying? So you guys got to be very mindful what the fuck you put into your bodies, man. A lot of these places like Pollo Tropical and Chipotle, they use these oils very highly. They fry all their tortilla chips in soybean or peanut oil or even what other oil? Just vegetable oil or corn oil or peanut oil. All those are highly processed. They're disgusting. They cost about, for a big box like this, it's about $40. There's only one brand that sells frying oil it comes from like a sugar cane, and it comes from also olive stems or some weird shit where they were able to like process it to where it can be brought to a high temperature and it's protected and it doesn't become rancid at a high temperature. And then the boxes that cost $40 to $50 of the regular seed oils that are bad for you, these cost $270 per box, and that'll be done in like 2-3 weeks if you're a high volume restaurant. So to spend $280 every 2 to 3 weeks on a box of oil, that's very costly. But it's the only way that you can promise to your customers that you are deep frying food, but you're deep frying it in an oil that is so expensive and it's so hard to attain that it's guaranteed that it's not going to affect your health with the way that the other ones would be on that whole level of rancidity. So, anyways, all right. So, yeah, canola oil. No, man, listen. Don't listen to that. Where's it at?
So shut it off, and now add it. So now you turn it on back on. Just let it sit there. You're gonna put some pressure so it cooks evenly. Now all this flavor that comes out of the chicken, we're gonna use it to heat our tortillas. When cooking,
check it out. By the way, also another thing, the choice of protein that he chose, which is chicken. Okay, so let's think about it. It's a very lean piece of chicken, right? So, I mean, very lean piece of protein. It's chicken. It has a lot more protein matter than it has more physical protein matter than fat matter. So there's automatically like less this has more water content than anything. So the chicken breast, when cooked, it can tend to be very dry. So with that being said, me, in my experience, when I tested it out with my business, I went for chicken thighs. Chicken thighs have higher fat content, and the chicken meat is actually softer because it's darker. So it's it's actually a softer protein, so you can actually grab that. So, and the best part about having chicken thighs is you don't clean them up. What you do is you remove the skin yourself, I'll show you why later. You remove the skin yourself, and then you put them in the oven full fat, all the fat on top of those chicken thighs. You put them in the oven after you marinate them for a couple of days, and then you throw them in the oven, low temperature, so it breaks down all the fibers, and then all the fat that gets rendered into that, you separate that, and then you chop up the chicken, boom, for the tacos or whatever. You put them away in your portions, and then right there, automatically you have all your chicken for your, that's how you do it. You portion it into either day bags or whatever the fuck, and then the thing is with that, the chicken's gonna be softer. So when you bite into a taco, you don't want to bite into a rough, tough, dry meat. That's not what you want. Not even steak. That's what a lot of places have. A lot of places have steak tacos, and it's just so dry. And then sometimes you pull it out, and the whole thing comes out, and it's a mess, and it's a disaster. And the whole structure of the taco is just elementary as fuck. So to use the chicken breast for tacos, I would understand if you were to cook it maybe like a poach, and make sure that chicken meat is gonna be real freaking soft. Or what you do is I would use chicken thighs, like I said, full fat. Take the skin off yourself because the skin's gonna be another project. And then so then what you do is you just use chicken thighs, chop it up, marinate it, boom, cook it. Keep that fat, the rendered fat from the chicken thighs, keep it to the side. So when you use it for tacos and stuff, you dip the tortillas in it for the flavor. And then you can also use that for a sauce. You can add it to your consomme for your birria tacos. What else? But yeah, I think, in my opinion, if you're gonna go for a protein source for tacos, I always thought, it's always best to have something that's a little bit on the more tender side. You know what I'm saying? And if it comes like a tough piece of meat like this, and you do decide to use chicken breast, I would do whatever I can possible to make them very, very, very thin sliced, or I would poach them at a low temperature for a while, and then or maybe sous vide cook them, and then have them at their most moist. Point. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So like if you were to grill the chicken first, you're getting char, you're losing a lot of content of the juice and the water from the protein because it's gonna drip to the the chicken to the grill. But so yeah, okay. So then yeah, chicken thighs all the way, bro. Wiki.
chicken or any kind of meat, if you want a nice sear, you leave it alone. If you don't want a nice sear, keep playing. It's not playing in the kitchen.
No sear. You want it to be tough.
Well, it depends. If my kids are around, we play. We have to make it fun. I can see the edges getting nice and gold. So now we're just going to flip it. And look at that beauty. So simple. I will say this will probably take 8 to 10 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes on each side. But it all depends on how thick your chicken breast is. The thinner, the faster. The thicker, the longer. The reason why I'm removing the chicken from the heat is because I want all the moist to stay in the chicken. If I cut it right away, all the juices are going to come out. So you're going to let it rest this for like 4 minutes, and then we'll cut it. And all these oils, it's love. We're not going to throw them away. That's what we're going to hear about tortillas.
Okay, eBay. eBay, things people love.
I'm going to remove these burn bits. I'm putting oil all over the cast iron pan. You're gonna go low heat. I'm gonna get some corn tortillas. I like to stack them together so they're kind of oily and steamy at the
Un de
same time.
paquete, güey.
Turning,
Manches.
and look how we're removing the fat out of this. We have to make sure they're nice and greasy and steamy without being too oily. This is why I'm moving all these tortillas around. So we're just gonna keep turning this until they're all nice and wet. Now we're gonna keep them all together like that so they stay warm. We're gonna put it on a towel, let it sit there. Let's move into assembling the tacos. We let our chicken rest for the past 5 minutes and it's ready. Now we're gonna do small dices. We're gonna make sure we keep it at the same size. So every bite of your taco is very important. You have the same amount of chicken on every bite. So I have a nice sear. It looks moist. Now let's grab our tortillas, loaded with a little bit of chicken, and we're gonna do the sauce. We have to make sure the sauce all over the taco. I'm gonna do a little bit of cheese. So the reason why I'm using shredded lettuce is because I want to add freshness to this dish. Same thing with the tomatoes. They're nice and small, so every bite has the same amount of love. Now I'm gonna do the crema, which is a Mexican sour cream. I'm gonna do a little bit. And this is how I cook with my kids. Nothing wrong with these tacos. A lot of people, mom of you, wanna be like, oh, you're making American tacos. This is not American taco. This is a chicken taco. And everybody loves it. And now I love it because my kids are crazy about this. We're going to finish it with a little bit of queso fresco. It's a cow's milk cheese, a salty, dry, crumbly cheese. Why did I use 2 cheeses? One, it's more for like flavor, and the other one is kind of like a seasoning and also garnish. Whatever you put on top, it's all up to you. And this is the best way to make tacos. My tacos are getting cold and they're ready to be tasted. Every bite has the same amount of love. The avocado sauce, the sour cream, the chicken is still moist, and everything is just perfect. So this taco, it's very simple to do it. Even though I make a chicken taco, but I want you to use the tips that I just give you about the tortilla, about the protein, about the salsa to make any taco that you want. 3 things: tortilla.
I understand he's doing something basic, like reading the basic of the most basic, because he's probably doing, oh shit, he's probably doing this as the basic tacos of like, Western, we the white people, what I'm saying, the Mexicans that weren't born, they were born here, what I'm saying. So obviously you saw that he was doing tortilla, protein, sauce, lechuga, tomate, yeah, what I'm saying. So basically, I know that he can do better. I'm pretty sure, obviously, like if he's a chef and he's authentically Mexican, I know he knows, a lot more than this basic stuff. But like it is what it is. If it costs to make the basic stuff, sometimes just to get to do what you got to do. You got to understand, bro. It's all business. But definitely, I would go with I would go with a type of slaw. What I'm saying, red cabbage, carrots, something else. Maybe pickle onions, maybe. What I'm saying. So there's so many. I love tacos because they're so diverse. What I'm saying. Like you can never say that a taco's bad. Unless it's just flavor or whatnot, or you just burnt something or whatever the heck. But at the same time, it's just so difficult